Have you ever wondered why retirement, something you've spent your whole life working toward, feels so far away no matter how much you plan? Why, after years of saving and being responsible, the finish line keeps moving further ahead? You can follow every rule they told you, save 10%, contribute to your pension, avoid debt, and still feel like the world keeps changing the math. You're not imagining it. The system that promised freedom at 65 was built for a world that no longer exists. Today, everything from inflation to interest rates has rewritten the rules, but most people are still following an outdated map. Retirement doesn't feel impossible because you failed. It feels impossible because you're still trying to solve a 2025 problem with a 1980s formula. Back then, one salary could build a family, pay for a home, and leave room to save. Today, even with two incomes, millions struggle to reach basic security. That's not lack of discipline. That's a broken framework. The truth is, the old definition of retirement, stop working, live off savings, doesn't match modern reality. Life expectancy rose, costs exploded, and financial markets turned unpredictable. The result? A generation that works harder than ever yet feels further from freedom. But here's the surprising part. You don't have to start over. You just have to change how you think about time, money, and momentum. Because what separates those who retire early from those who never do isn't luck. It's rhythm. It's understanding when to evolve, not just how much to save. And that's what the 7-5-3-1 rule reveals. So let's break down why this simple shift changes everything about your financial future. Let's take a step back. The traditional retirement formula, work for 40 years, retire at 65, was designed for an economy that barely exists anymore. When that plan was invented, people lived shorter lives, interest rates were higher, and company pensions guaranteed income for life. You could rely on a single employer and one stream of income. But today, the landscape has changed completely. Lifespans have stretched 20 years longer, costs have multiplied tenfold, pensions disappeared, and now your retirement depends not just on how much you save, but how well you adapt. Here's the painful truth. Most people who are working today will need over $1 million just to maintain their lifestyle in retirement. Yet the average retiree leaves work with less than $250,000 saved, and even those who save diligently find themselves watching inflation erode their hard work year after year. So they panic, they delay, they work longer, and eventually they give up on the idea of financial freedom altogether. They don't realize the system isn't designed for stability anymore. It's designed for movement. The modern world rewards flexibility, not rigidity, but our financial education hasn't caught up. We're still told to pick a number, stick to it for 40 years, and hope the market cooperates. But the market doesn't follow straight lines. It follows cycles. Your life does too. Which means retirement success isn't about sticking to one plan. It's about knowing when to adjust the plan. And that's where most people fall behind. They don't update their mindset as their money evolves. They plateau at the same financial stage for decades, not because they're lazy, but because no one taught them that growth has seasons. And that's exactly where this rule begins to rewrite your story. Let's introduce a new rhythm, one that doesn't depend on luck, market timing, or unrealistic savings goals. The 7-5-3-1 rule isn't a trick or a formula. It's a mindset for staying in motion when others get stuck. Here's how it works. Every 7 years, your money mindset must evolve. Every 5 years, your income strategy must change. Every 3 years, your investment horizon should be reviewed. And every 1 year, your financial rhythm should be measured. Think of it like a system upgrade for your financial operating system. Every 7 years, ask yourself, am I thinking bigger than I used to? Every 5 years, have I created new income channels or am I still depending on one? Every 3 years, Is my money still working where it's planted? And every year, do I still feel in control of my rhythm? This rule isn't about working harder, it's about staying awake. The people who never seem to fall behind aren't luckier, they simply recalibrate more often. They don't wait until 65 to realize they're off track. They course correct early, and those small adjustments compound faster than any investment. That's why I call the 7-5-3-1 rule the rhythm of financial momentum. By the way, if this is connecting with you so far, and you want more videos that turn financial stress into clarity, comment the word growth below. That's how I'll know you're ready for the next level. Because next, we'll see how this rhythm plays out in real life, and why it might be the missing piece between your current effort and your future peace. Let's go deeper. The 7-5-3-1 rule works because it mirrors how real life evolves. Financial progress isn't linear, it's emotional. You can't sprint through a marathon, yet that's how most people treat retirement. They work aggressively for a few years, burn out, and stop tracking. Then they wonder why progress feels invisible. Momentum doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. Here's the emotional math. When you evolve every 7 years, you stop repeating the same mental patterns. You stop saying, "I'm not good with money," and start saying, "I'm learning its rhythm." Every 5 years, when you shift your income source, you open new doors that your job alone could never create. Every 3 years, you refine your investments, turning random bets into aligned compounding. And every year, you recalibrate your financial awareness, the most underused tool in wealth building. Think of a plane flying across the ocean. If the pilot locks the controls and never corrects course, the plane will miss its destination by hundreds of miles. The same happens with money. The longer you go without small corrections, the further you drift from financial freedom. But when you check your direction every 7-5-3-1 cycle, you stay close to your goal. Here's a quick example. Imagine someone at 42 who starts applying the rule. In 7 years, they evolve their mindset, less consumption, more compounding. In 5, they add a second income stream. In 3, they rebalance their investments. In 1, they audit their cash flow monthly. Without earning a penny more, they retire 8 years earlier, not because they worked harder, but because they adjusted smarter. Now let's make this real. I want to show you how this looks in the story of 2 people who went from feeling behind to becoming completely in command of their financial lives. Meet David and Lisa. In their late 40s, they had done everything by the book. They worked stable jobs, contributed to retirement accounts, and avoided debt. But when they finally looked at their numbers, the math didn't make sense. Even after 2 decades of discipline, they were still decades away from retiring. They weren't failing. They were following a plan that no longer worked. Then they stumbled on the 7-5-3-1 rule. At first, it sounded too simple, but they decided to test it. In year 1, they reviewed their financial rhythm. They tracked every dollar for the first time, not to restrict themselves, but to see clearly. It was uncomfortable, but eye-opening. After 3 years, they rebalanced their investments. They moved from chasing hot stocks to holding long-term assets that matched their temperament. By year 5, Lisa built a small consulting business on the side. It didn't replace her income. It multiplied their freedom. And by year 7, they realized something unexpected. They didn't feel anxious anymore. Their savings grew, yes, but more importantly, their confidence did. The 7-5-3-1 rule didn't just change their finances, it changed their identity. They no longer saw retirement as an end. They saw it as a transition, from working for money to letting money work for them. That shift is what creates real wealth, not the size of your account, but the calmness in your decisions. Let's move forward, because now it's time to understand how applying this mindset rewires everything about the way you think about money. When you start living by rhythm instead of reaction, everything changes. You stop comparing your timeline to someone else's. You stop panicking when markets drop because you understand. It's just another cycle in the rhythm. You begin to see that wealth isn't built from certainty. It's built from emotional resilience. This rule teaches you to treat money like a living system, one that grows stronger when you nurture it consistently. It turns your finances from a finish line into a flow. You realize you don't need to beat the market. You just need to stay in it long enough for your strategy to unfold. Picture your financial life like a wave. Most people fight the wave. They try to control it. But the few who learn to move with it glide farther with less effort. That's what this rule does. It helps you stop resisting and start aligning. And here's the hidden power. When you feel in sync with your money, you stop obsessing over it. You make decisions from clarity, not fear. You understand that every dollar has a job and every season of your life has its own pace. This mindset shift is what transforms retirement from something you chase into something that naturally unfolds. Now let's take this one step deeper, into clarity. Because when you can see your financial rhythm clearly, you no longer need to control it. You can trust it. Before we move on, let me share something we're building for you. The Trip to Wealth Command Center. It's a simple but powerful Google Sheet system that visualizes your financial rhythm like an investor's dashboard. It tracks your income, your cash flow, and your net worth. But most importantly, it helps you see your 7-to-5-3-1 rhythm in real time. You'll know exactly where you are in your financial journey. Imagine finally feeling in command of your money, not the other way around. The truth is, clarity is the best protection against risk. You can't predict the storm, but you can build a stronger boat. And that's what the Command Center gives you. A financial windshield. You can join the early access waitlist below and lock in an exclusive discount. Here is the point. Start small. Track your monthly savings rate. Know your fixed expenses. Build your emergency buffer. Don't aim for perfection. Aim for awareness. Wealth doesn't require control, it requires visibility. Because the moment you can see your money clearly, you stop reacting emotionally and start leading strategically. So here's your practical takeaway today. Build margins before moments. Protect peace before profit. The people who stay wealthy aren't the ones who chase opportunity. They're the ones who stay steady when opportunity arrives. Luck favors the calm observer far more than the frantic competitor. Let's close with the warm truth at the heart of all of this, the perspective that brings peace back to your financial life. When money chooses you, it rarely asks permission. It arrives through timing, discipline, and patience, not just effort. You'll find that retirement doesn't fail because people don't try hard enough. It fails because they never evolved the way they thought about wealth. The 7-5-3-1 rule is your evolution plan. It reminds you that wealth is not a destination, it's a rhythm, one that grows stronger with every adjustment you make. When you live by rhythm, you stop fearing volatility and you start flowing with it. You stop chasing someday and you start building right now. Every dollar becomes a lesson in perspective. Every setback becomes a cycle that passes. You realize wealth isn't about winning, it's about lasting. Because when you stay in the game long enough, the odds begin to bend in your favor. If you found value today, I highly recommend watching our next video, the 4% rule versus 3% rule, which retires you faster. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And let me know in the comments, which part of the 7-5-3-1 rule are you working on right now? I appreciate your support more than you know. Until next time, stay consistent, stay patient, and stay winning. See you in the next one, Money Magician.